you can watch it back and get any pointers. We also will be tomorrow posting the notes that go along with this webinar, with the seminar notes. And tonight we're actually Megan, our instructor manager, is going to be running the webinar. She'll give you a bit of an introduction about her story, but we're talking about emotional eating and ways that we can overcome the traps, and really identifying when we are falling into that emotional eating trap. Now, emotional eating is something that everyone does, and we tend to, I've spoken about it multiple times through the other webinars, we tend to find that whatever emotion it might be, positive or negative, so we might have an emotion of being really happy, and we tend to then eat because we're happy. So that's a perfect example of that we grow up with is like our birthday party. So like a birthday party is a celebration, something that we're really happy about, and then we go and have birthday cake, and that's the way that we celebrate our birthdays. Or we get our lollies when we leave a party and we just continue to eat. We're still eating our emotions there, it's just not in a negative. So then there's so many other emotions that we tend to find that we do eat. And it's really what we're going to do tonight is just looking at when we identifying these things and making sure that when we can identify them on a daily basis, and that's the first step, and then we can look at ways of overcoming those traps. So what I'm going to do now is hand you over to Megan, and make sure this one is as interactive as possible. So really put your hand up, ask any questions in that question and answer box as we go along, and I'm sure that Megan will love that interaction and she'll really be able to help you out. But like I said, she's got a great story herself, and you have a listen to that. It's a really inspiring story and an ongoing story. And then please make sure that you give any feedback, comments. We're here to help you with all of that sort of stuff as well. Okay, guys, I'm going to hand you over to Megan, and she'll take it from here.
Thanks, Todd. So I probably haven't had the chance to meet any of you yet, and as you would have known from me supposed to be attending to see you guys in Underwood, I believe it was, I actually get the pleasure of being here in Bali at the moment, so I feel a little bit fancy. But for those of you who have not met me, my name's Megan. I am and have been a huge emotional eater. My story and actually my journey into Pilates all started at the same time. 6 years ago, my daughter was born, and on the day that I gave birth to Willow, I was 135 kilos after she was born. That came from most of my life sitting at around 55 kilos. So massive blowout, not just as a result of being pregnant. My mum died. And within the first 12 months of her dying, I put on 35 kilos. And then there was an extra 30 kilos whilst I was pregnant with Willow. So mum died, my sister moved away, I was left to look after my dad. And so my comfort came from sitting in the bottom of the shower, eating my feelings, or trying to fill a void, I suppose, of what I had missed, or what I was feeling that I was missing in losing my mum. 12 months after my mum had passed, I got married. Not very well thought out, and as a result, he is now my ex-husband. But during that time, again, unhappily married, so everything was emotional. Dinners, I wanted big dinners, I wanted to feel satisfied, I wanted to feel sated, and because I didn't, I was constantly looking for something else. So insert pregnancy, and along came Willow. So then the day that I brought Willow home from hospital, I whispered in her ear as we were sitting in the rocking chair, and I said to her, I promise to be the best possible version of myself for you. And from that day forward, I always keep in the back of my mind, don't break the first promise you ever made your daughter. And so I joined a gym, which I was the woman that if I would drive to the gym, and if I couldn't get on the treadmill in the back row, or if I was going to do a class and I couldn't get up in that back corner, I would literally turn around, get back in my car and drive home. Or if I couldn't find a gym close to fit me, or that I felt hit everything, I would not go, which kind of defeats the purpose, really. So that then got me into Pilates and reformer specifically, because I could be on a machine. I figured everybody was looking at the ceiling, nobody could look at me, nobody could see me, and I could just do my thing. And that's where my love for Pilates came into play, and that's how I then lost 60 kilos in 3 years, I think it was. And still going, like I still have some of that baby weight to drop, but my focus has shifted, and my love and my personal acceptance has shifted. So I'm happy with the 60 kilos that I've lost so far, and have learnt a lot from it along the way. One of the major things that I learnt around emotional eating is that it starts so young. So when Willow was a baby, you're taught when they cry, they're either hungry or tired. So the first thing I would do when Willow was crying is feed her. You gave her a bottle, or you offered food, or if Willow fell over in the park or at home or something happened, do you want to get an ice cream? Let's go get an ice cream. Here, sit down, have something to eat. What's wrong? You're not happy? That's for me was, let's go have something to eat. Here, have a chocolate milk, or you did so well at school today, let's go to McDonald's for a Happy Meal. They're all emotional eating triggers that are set in at such a young age. I know my mother did that to me. Your mother probably did that for you, not to you, I shouldn't say. And so as a result of that, those sorts of things kind of become ingrained. The other things that I really learnt, and things that you would probably pick up on, are telltale signs of comfort eating. So the number one is eating when you're not physically hungry. It kind of comes down to just the mindless eating. It might be something like eating popcorn in a movie. You go to the movies, you're not hungry, but you're going to buy popcorn, and you're not going to buy the small, because for an extra 50 cents you can get the large, and so you get the large. And I mean, how many of you sit there and you're just eating popcorn before the movie even starts? And it is a mindless act. By the time that you get to the movie, half your popcorn's gone. Most of you look at the box and you think, well, where did all the popcorn go? Or, how did I eat all of that? So they're mindless acts sometimes. And so eating when you're not physically hungry, you might want to, if you catch yourself doing that, you might want to consider how long ago it was since you ate. Was it 3 hours ago or half an hour ago? Is your body sending you any signals, like any clear signals that you are hungry? Obviously, your stomach grumbling. Are you low in energy? Are you feeling irritable? Or even a little bit headachy? Drink a glass of water. Start off with a glass of water, and then still recheck yourself to see if those signs are there, and go from there. Another sign of comfort eating is finding it hard to find foods that satisfy you. How many times do you go to the fridge, you open up the fridge, you get something else, you eat it, you sit down and you think, nope, that wasn't enough. You get up, you open the fridge, grab something else out, that's still not it. You're still looking, you're still trying something else. Even like scavenging for food. That is a sign of comfort eating, because it's a constant dissatisfaction. So whatever it is that you're searching for, you're not going to find it in food. You also want to have a check of your emotions. Anger, anxiety, boredom. Boredom is a big one. And then, just what is it that you're doing at that point in time? Are you just watching telly? Oh, are you picking off the kids' plates? And that one kind of does fall back into the mindless eating phase. It's that the act of just picking up and putting in the mouth, without even thinking about it, as a result of whatever it is that you're doing at that point in time. The good news is that emotional eating isn't just because we're weak or because we don't have any self-control. There are biological reasons as to why food is so comforting. For example, when you are stressed out, your body is flooded with cortisol. So cortisol is a stress hormone, and that hormone in particular makes you crave carbohydrates, sugar, and fatty foods. So food is soothing due to the fact that it changes the chemical component that's created in your body. Chocolate is the perfect example. Chocolate boosts the feel-good neurotransmitters and chemicals in your body. That makes you more alert and more excited and essentially happy. So that's the biology side of it, the chemical components and the readdressing. Then there's also food is comforting because it's a distraction. For me personally, I do actually get quite shy in large group settings, and so if there's a buffet table or if there is a snack table, that's where I'll head to. Birthday parties for kids, when you show up and there are no other parents that I know, I will tend to take Willow over to the food table because that's a distraction. So it's comforting in a fact that it's occupying me and I'm no longer feeling shy or I'm no longer feeling awkward or exposed. It's giving me an action to do where I can feel comfortable. Beliefs. So this is where I was talking about when you're growing up, where you're conditioned to believe that eating can ease pain. But not just from growing up with your parents or your mum's favourite roast pork or her amazing apple and blueberry pie on a rainy day. It's not just those things. It's TV commercials. You have a look on the telly, how many ads are using the words bliss and happiness. They all play a part in you believing that you actually need those things to feel that particular way. Another big one is convenience. So we enjoy things that are super easy, convenient. Vending machines are super popular. Fast food restaurants are super popular. Drive-thrus, anything these days that's convenient, quick, easy, pack it, done. That kind of makes us feel easier or feel a little bit more ease if we're time poor. So convenience is a factor. Entertainment, like I said, the movies, going out for dinner with friends, celebrating, you celebrate with a dinner or, you celebrate with going to your favourite bar for cocktails, all of those sorts of things. It's all a part of emotional eating. Emotional eating isn't just, like Todd said earlier, not on a negative aspect. It definitely plays a part in the positive aspects as well, but it's all about balance and recognition and acknowledgement, basically. The good side, like I said, the good side to the parent thing is, for me, one of my fondest memories is birthdays. Growing up, we were allowed to have whatever meal we wanted and whatever cake we wanted. So mine was apricot chicken with mashed potatoes, and then my birthday cake was always a pavlova. And that's how we celebrated birthdays, and it's very easy to fall into that trap then of celebrating birthdays in the same way. All around food. Christmas, look at Christmas, how many tables are filled with so many tasty treats at Christmas. It's not a bad thing again, it's just their triggers and their memories and their feel good, their emotions. So, it's just now learning to recognize those things and how to apply them to your everyday life. Because look, I'm going to be really honest with you, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and just not be an emotional eater. It takes time, it takes steps, and it's going to happen ongoing for the rest of your life. It's how you come back from that. That's really, really important. So a few handy hints or a few steps, I suppose, that we can work through is, first of all, awareness. Like I said, it's just having self-awareness, because a lot of emotional eating is unconscious. It's not something that we're thinking about. It's something that we're feeling. And in my opinion, your feelings are never wrong. It's how we feed those feelings that matters. So I would say, in my opinion, keep a journal, or if you have a diary, if you live through a diary like I do, if you're feeling something on a particular day, if it's that 3 p.m. chocolate that you find you're getting up and going for, or the afternoon tea cookies in the lunchroom, write down in your diary, like go and get them. But then when you get back to your desk, write down in your diary what it is that you're feeling at that point in time. Are you feeling hungry? Are you feeling bored? Are you feeling stressed? Is it a craving, or is it an actual mindless act? Is it something that you were so used to doing, or is it because you just wanted to get up out of your desk? You wanted something to do. Write it down. And if you still want to eat those biscuits, or you still want to eat that chocolate at the end of once you finish writing it down, go for it. But if you don't, then that's one step ahead. That's having awareness, and that's really tapping into how you feel and what it is that you want. Ask yourself, am I hungry? On a scale of 1 to 10, how hungry am I? And if you're rating from 1 to 5, you're not really that hungry. You probably don't really want that. You could probably have a cup of green tea and a big glass of water and you would be fine. If it's from a 6 to a 10, it's likely that you're physically hungry and that perhaps you may want to get something else other than the chocolate or the biscuits. Step 2, once you are aware, is to replace. And that's what I tapped in there at the end. It doesn't have to be replace food with food, or replace food with water, or replace food with a cup of tea. It might be something what they call the 1 minute fix. So it might be that you sip a cup of tea for 1 minute whilst you're writing your diary, whilst you're thinking about how hungry you are or are not. It might be something as simple as just slipping the shoes off under the desk and giving your feet a rub for 1 minute. It's called the 1 minute fix because it is, I suppose, a distraction or a replacement for you to get out of the train of thought that you were in leading up to that moment. And if you're still hungry at the end of that 1 minute, if you're still thinking about something to eat, then great, go and get it. But if you can replace it with something else, it might be meditating, 1 minute, breathing, going for a walk around the office, and not to the lunchroom. It's just about a way of choosing a healthy way to clear your mind. 1 minute, that's all. Set the timer on your phone, the timer on your computer, give yourself 1 minute, and then decide what you want to do from there. Then the third step is to practice those things. I don't know about you, but I am awesome at starting something. I start everything, and I go out and I buy everything I need to get started, and I very rarely finish or see it all the way through. So small steps, I say. Week 1, just practice your awareness. Just try and think about it a little bit more. Try to be a little bit more mindful. Week 2, start writing things down, start writing your feelings down, start writing what time it is when you have cravings. What it is, I think most of you should be recording what you're eating anyway, or following a set meal plan. But if you are straying off that meal plan, go back to it. Go back to writing down what you're eating every day, and then being mindful of that. Choose a 1 minute fix that works for you. Don't try and force yourself to meditate if you're not a meditator. Don't do it. Don't force yourself to drink green tea or black tea if you don't drink tea. Don't do it. My thing is coffee. I drink long blacks, and I won't give up long blacks for anything in the world. So if that's your thing, go for it. Just make it work for you. Otherwise, it's not going to work at all. And then just practice. Practice implementing those things. If you miss one day, if you forget, if you're mindless and you did have that binge, you did go to KFC on the way home, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. That's the most important thing. Also, don't start the snowball effect. So if you wake up in the morning on a Saturday and you're going to go out for breakfast with your friends and you're having this amazing pancakes, don't go home and think, oh well, I've ruined the day now, so I may as well just keep going. Because what was just a tiny little snowball, you don't then want it to roll over into a giant one where then the next day you're going to have a hard time coming back from it. So for me, it's all about giving yourself permission. I tell myself, I give permission for myself to go out and eat whatever I want tonight. I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I'm not going to feel bad about it because this is life. It is a lifestyle. We have to be practical and we have to be reasonable. You have children, you have husbands, you have friends, you have celebrations, we have weddings. It is a fact of life. Just be realistic. Have what you want to have that night, and then the next day, be prepped and ready to get straight back on your healthy eating or your clean eating or whatever it is that you choose to live by on your day-to-day life. Don't let it sprawl out where you have a big binge for a whole week, because that's where everything's going to come crashing down. Like I said, I'm really good at starting something, awesome at it. I'll start a new meal plan, I'll get going, I'll give it 110%, and I'll get these fantastic results. And then I think to myself, right, so I'm busting my butt here and I'm getting more than what I thought I would. So if I just backed off a little bit, I should technically still get good results. No. In theory, yeah, exactly. Everybody, so somebody's commented that they're the same as well. I'm all about negotiating with myself. I can definitely talk myself out of a workout because I've convinced myself that I'm going to go tomorrow and I'm going to do 2 classes tomorrow so I can stay home and do nothing. So it's about finding that middle ground. If you're getting to that point where you're thinking, okay, well I've given all of this effort and I'm just going to back off a little bit, talk to your coach, because it may be at that point in time that you're burning yourself out. And then there's ways that the coaches can work around it. You can keep your workouts going, or if you're going to drop your workouts down, then we can just change your meal plan out a little bit to accommodate for that. So keeping in mind sometimes that if you're following a macro-based diet and you're putting in, I'm going to do 5 reformer classes a week, and so it's going to calculate your macros. If you don't do your 5 classes per week, but you're still eating all those macros, you may not get the results that you want because your macros are based on the amount of energy that you're meant to be expanding. So if that makes sense, just keep that in mind, because around the halfway mark, people will say, oh, I'm not getting the results I want. And when you stop getting the results you want, that's where the opposite happens to what I just said. People say, oh, I'm putting in all this effort, but I'm not getting the results I want. I may as well just eat whatever I want. Or what's the point in eating that when I'm not getting the results I want as well? So that's where it's really important for you to be accountable to yourself and really own it. If you're not getting the results you should be getting, why not? Have you done all your classes this week? Have you picked off the kids' plate late at night mindlessly? My biggest one is Willow's lunchbox when she comes home at the end of the day. If she hasn't eaten all the food that's in there, I have a really hard time with being okay with throwing it in the bin. But I'm not a bin, and nor are you, so don't treat yourself like one. Don't put it in your mouth because you think that you're the garbage disposal because you can't bear to put it in the bin. I have started putting it in containers and putting it in the fridge and putting it back in her lunchbox the next day, just like my mother did to me, and I used to curse her for it, and I find myself doing the same thing. But it's all just tiny little steps that all lead up into one giant path for you guys. That's basically everything that I have to deliver for you. And if you have any questions for me, I want you to start shooting them through so I can start going through and answering them for you. I think you guys are in week 3 now, maybe, perhaps. And so next week, when you do get to your halfway mark for your weigh-in measures, really make sure that you are filling in your food journals, you're talking to your coaches and being really honest. If you are starting to find it all too hard, keeping up with the meal prep or organising different meals for different family members, talk to your coach about it. There are some amazing recipes out there which are family friendly for you and the whole family, or for you and hubby. Make sure you get in touch with other people in your group as well. There are really healthy options around for if you want to go out for snacks. I often do a detox, and the local cafe down the road from the Mount Gravatt studio accommodate me really well. So sometimes you don't know unless you ask. Don't just go off what's on the menu, like actually ask them if they can change it for you. We've done that here everywhere in Bali at the moment. They love to serve everything with potato. And we asked for a meal the other day, this chicken and coleslaw, and it came with potato wedges. And we said, no potato wedges. They're like, oh, okay, just mashed potato. We're like, no mashed potato. Oh, okay, just chips. It's like, no chips, no potato at all. And they were more than willing to accommodate. So don't be afraid to ask. I have one of those fears of being one of those people. I don't want to be one of those people sometimes, but at the same time, what I want for myself far outweighs the fear of being somebody that people cringe about. I couldn't really care less if it means that I'm being the best possible version for myself, which then also means the best possible version for Willow, and so on and so forth. So it's really important to have that self-awareness. Sorry, just reading a question. The after dinner cravings, yeah, so somebody's mentioned that they feel they do really well up until dinner, and then after dinner it's when they start looking for something else. A few things. I do make sure that I use one of my meals as an after dinner meal, so to speak. Yogurt with protein powder and a little bit of stevia added into it. I use that as a bit of a dessert. So just vanilla Greek yogurt and some chocolate protein powder is quite delicious and nice. A protein bar as well. And also I do like frozen blueberries. I don't know how you guys go with that, but they're not sweet, but sometimes it is just the act of eating, and that's something you need to be mindful of. Is it a craving because you are craving sugar, or is it because you may have had dinner at 6 o'clock and it is now 9 o'clock at night and you're looking for something to fill in time because you're watching a movie, or you're used to eating every 3 hours during the day, so you think, oh, it's been 3 hours since I had dinner, I now need to eat something else. So again, write down what it is that you're feeling at that point in time, and if your tummy is grumbling, then definitely get something to eat. It's really important that you guys do eat when you are actually hungry. Otherwise, your body will go into starvation mode. I'm sure your coaches have spoken to you about that. So don't ignore being hungry, just make the right choices, that's all. Any other questions? Is gluten-free dessert okay? If you're following the macros-based diet, then yeah, put it into your spreadsheet, and if it's fits in with your macros for the day, then absolutely. If it's a calorie-based diet that you're following, just check it off. The one thing you want to make sure of is the sugar content. So check how many grams of sugar it is per 100, and that's what you kind of want to keep an eye on. This is where we say it is a lifestyle, so we don't want you to rule out anything. other than, you know, pizza every night for dinner. But if it fits in with your meal plan, then by all means go ahead and eat it. If it's a once-off treat, do it. If it's something that you want to add in every night, talk to your coach. If you can't work it out, if you are following macros or calories, try and fit it in. And if it fits in, have it. That's, as long as you know with the workouts as well, it should be fine. Water intake in winter, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Warm water with lemon of a morning is a good way to start. I'm the kind of person in summertime, I don't drink water unless it's cold water. Like I can't drink temperature, what is it? Air temperature? Room temperature. Room temperature water. I can't drink room temperature water. So it's either ice cold or boiling hot in coffee. Otherwise there's no in between for me and I don't drink water. So in the winter time, I do really struggle. But I do find that if I replace some of my cups of coffee with a cup of warm water and lemon, that it does help me keep up with my water intake a little bit. If you like lemon, that's the other thing. You can use lime. You can also use ginger in the winter time. But if you're in an office job, it's really easy to have, you know, make a big cup of it. If you have an insulated water bottle, fill it up with, you know, obviously boil the jug, let it cool down just a little bit, then add that into your water bottle, add your lemon juice, straight up lemon juice, or pieces of lemon, or bits of ginger. That's also fine as well. But if, so somebody else has said that they drink warm water at work and Red Bush tea. Delicious. Good lady. Yeah, I'm terrible. Like, even if I have a bottle of water in the car and if it's gone warm, I don't drink it. Shh, don't tell anyone. I do like the cold water though, but I am a huge fan of lemon water in the morning. I don't know if anybody else does that. I find it to be an actual, a really great way to cleanse the palate as soon as you wake up in the morning. There's lots of, like, some people call it, you know, rubbish or, you know, not necessary, and it's not. Like, I strongly believe that you do whatever works best for you. Whatever feels good for you, you do it. Drinking warm lemon water in the mornings for me makes me feel good. I feel fresh, I feel cleansed. I do it before I brush my teeth. It's the first thing I do. I wake up in the morning, I turn the jug on, I go to the bathroom, I come back, hot water and lemon, a little bit of stevia. And for me, that I really enjoy starting my day that way. And I find that if you start the day off well, then the rest of the day will follow. It's the same with exercising in the morning. If I exercise in the morning, everything I eat thereafter is spot on, because I don't want to ruin the fact that I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning for that piece of cake or for that cupcake. You know, my biggest thing was large Freddo frogs. Love them. But they're 100 calories for a large Freddo frog, which you think isn't really that much if you're going to compare it to a slice of mud cake or, you know, I don't know, a little cupcake. But when you look at what it is that you actually have to do to burn off 100 calories, in addition to what you've already done to counteract for the meal plan that you currently have, that's a lot of extra energy that I have to put in. That's an extra half an hour on the treadmill after I've already done my hour that I need to for the day. So it's really also about educating yourself, reading the labels, having a look and asking yourself, is this worth it? Is this large Freddo frog worth me being at the gym for an extra half an hour in addition to the hour that I'm already going to be there? Probably not. Most of the time not. Sometimes I tell myself yes. I will be honest about that. But you are going to have those days, and that's where ownership comes into play, and that's where I do then go and spend that extra time at the gym to make sure I do burn off that extra 100 calories. For those of you that have been in my class or do know me, you do know I am a little bit obsessed with my Fitbit watch, so I do use that to help me keep accountable. Any other questions? No? Well, that's okay. So I'll let you all go and enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope the weather is okay in Brisbane. It was a little bit overcast here, but otherwise it's quite amazing, just quietly. I look forward to meeting you all when I come back. I believe that might not be soon, but hopefully towards the end of your challenge I will be back. So have a great night, everybody. Please feel free, if you have any questions later, just to post them in the Transform Pilates page and I'll happily answer them for you. This will also be posted up, the link, so you can go back and read again. And also I think we might just type up a few of those tips and hints in case you missed them, so you can go back and refer to them later. But if I can give you any homework to do over the next week, it's just to think. Just be accountable and a little bit mindful for yourself. And if you want to start keeping your diary, by all means, go ahead and talk to your coaches about it. But you can find me on Facebook. Otherwise, please add me if you want to, and feel free to send through any questions that you have. I'm happy to talk to you at any time, or offer advice, or be a sounding ear for those days where you really just think, you know what, I'm going to bake a chocolate mud cake and I'm going to eat it all to myself, because I've been there. So please feel free to do so. If you're going to add me on Facebook, Megan Hurley, Hurley, you will probably be able to find me through some of the other instructors if you are friends with them already. Otherwise, I will see you all soon, and I will talk to you online. Have a good night.